What's up gamers? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a girl that's obsessed with fireworks, also known as Miss Yoimiya. We're going to be talking about if you should or why you should pull for Yoimiya. She's coming in the next 5 days, and you might want to know if she's worth your 160 valuable primo gems. Cause I know you're primo gem deprived like all the F2Ps in Genshin right now. Now keep in mind that this isn't a guide video, I just want to fill you in on her kit and her playstyle. So since I hate long intros, and I know you probably do too, let's get straight into the video. So Yoimiya is a pyro main DPS bow character. Her normal attacks just shoot out arrows that do physical damage. They don't do that much damage, but they can after using her elemental skill. For now, they're just useless. But I'd like to say that she does have a cool charge attack, which makes her shoot out pyro arrows that follow an enemy. But just note, nobody uses these charge attacks. Now for her skill. It basically just makes her arrows blazing hot and increases the damage that they do. This effect lasts for 10 seconds, meaning that Yoimiya will be on field shooting the enemies for about 10 seconds straight. If you don't have the Geodaddy, then she might just get smacked around like a ragdoll. That's just a heads up though. Since her E makes her normal attacks very useful and a big part of her kit, remember those cool charge attacks I was talking about and that nobody uses them? This is the reason why. Because after using her skill, her normal attacks actually contribute way more damage than her charge attacks. And we all know that a lot of people that play Genshin Impact are damage hungry, like me. A nice part about her kit is that she gains a total of 4 energy particles if you are on field using her normal attacks for the full duration of her E. But that's really all her skill does. Now let's talk about her burst. When you use the Firework Girl's burst, she jumps up in the air and shoots something at the enemies. You guessed it, fireworks. And what this does is that it does some pyro damage once every 2 seconds on the hit of any other character's attacks. Of course, other than Yoimiya, since Genshin hates her. Don't worry Yoimiya, you'll find a spot in Stariel. Genshin doesn't deserve you anyway. But overall, her burst is a pretty good ability to use, especially if you just want to get some extra damage in. This is because off-field characters such as Xingqiu or Yelan can actually proc the effect of her burst from off-field. The damage that it does is meh, but it does have a 10-second duration with a 15-second cooldown, and her burst animation isn't that long, unlike a certain someone's. Her burst also only has a 60 energy cost, which isn't that much. Also, since she gains 4 energy particles if she's attacking for the whole duration of her E, this can come in handy with getting her burst up, and of course with having teammates as well. But since her best in slot set is Shimenawa, sometimes it's best not to even use her burst, just to proc the 4 piece of its set. But if you can somehow use her burst and manage to get 15 energy particles before using her E, then I guess it's not so bad to use her burst with Shimenawa. But anyway, now for her passives. Her first passive is a pretty good way to get more damage out of Yoimiya. What it does is that after using her skill, for every normal attack that you do, she gains a 2% pyro damage bonus increase. This is just a quick and easy way to squeeze more damage out of her, because all you have to do is left click. This effect can stack up to 10 times, but it only lasts for 3 seconds. But it can give a max of 20% pyro damage bonus to Yoimiya, which is pretty good. This passive doesn't really have drawbacks other than it lasting for only 3 seconds, but I guess it's fine. Now for her second passive. With this passive unlocked, her burst will provide a 10% attack increase to the entire team, other than Yoimiya of course. This attack increase lasts for 15 seconds. But that's not all it can do, because this 10% attack buff gets 1% higher for every stack of bonus pyro damage you get from her first passive. So basically her burst gives you a flat 10% damage increase, and then she uses her first passive that increases her pyro damage bonus for every pyro infused normal attack she hits on an enemy, and for every stack of pyro damage she gains also increases her burst's 10% attack bonus by 1%. But considering you can stack the pyro damage bonus up to 10 times, this means you can add an additional 10% more attack to the flat 10% attack her burst originally gave you. And I was taught in school that 10 plus 10 equals 20. This means that her burst can give a 20% attack increase to the entire team, except Yoimiya. Now if you didn't understand a single thing that I said and don't like math, let me explain it to you in simpler terms. First talent gives Yoimiya passive damage. Second talent gives team damage, and it also gives team more damage based on how much damage Yoimiya gains from her first talent. That's as simple as I can go, okay? But now that you know everything about her kit and what she does, let's move on to her talent priorities. So the first and most obvious talent that you should prioritize is her normal attacks. This is because it's where most of her damage is coming from. The higher you level it up, the more damage that you can do. Now second I would say is her skill. This is because leveling it up will help her do more damage on her normal attacks, since using her E by itself doesn't actually do any damage. Lastly, I would say you should level up her burst. This is because in some teams or using some artifact sets, you wouldn't even want to use her burst at all. There's some scenarios where you'd have to use her burst, for example if you're using her signature weapon, but for the most part, leveling up her burst last out of all three of her talents would be an efficient use of your materials. But definitely do not ignore it. In summary, I would recommend that you level up her normals first, her skill, and then her burst. Now hello my lovely viewer, since you've gotten this far into the video, why not like, subscribe, and join my Discord down below. You liking and subscribing will help me out a ton because I'm a small content creator hoping to get big one day. So you effortlessly clicking the subscribe button can help me out a lot. And if you're a new player that just needs help with setting up your teams, or you might want to know who to build or what artifact domains are the most efficient to farm, by joining my Discord server, a lot of members would be happy to help you with whatever issues you need. Trust me, we've got some smart people in there. Of course, I'm not one of them, but you get the gist of it. The link will be in the description or the comment section since I like making things easy for you. But with that out of the way, let's move on to our best team comps. So Yoimiya has a bunch of different team comps and she can shine in all of them. I'm not going to talk about all the teams, but expect a full video on that coming soon. Right now, I'm just going to talk about some of her best teams, like this team, the Yoimiya Vaporize team. She actually has multiple different variants of this team, but I feel like this is her best one. If you didn't know, Yoimiya is the main DPS of the team, and it consists of the two Xingqius, Yellen and Furina, both of them being supports and help with buffing Yoimiya's damage. And then there's Bennett. For this team in specific, Bennett will have to be in a healer build, just because you might want more healing for Furina's fanfare, and also because Yoimiya is a pretty fragile character. This team is pure damage. All the characters synergize very well with each other. These three supports just increase Yoimiya's damage by so much, and when I first used this team, I was super surprised with how much damage Yoimiya could do. For a second, I actually considered getting her overrated. You really think I would say that? Just to let you know, you're watching the biggest Raiden simp in the world. I could never say such lies. But now for another one of her best teams, her normal attack team. This team's main goal is just to make her do a lot of damage with her normal attacks. Yunjin is a great support for this team as well as Bennett for obvious reasons, and either Kazuha or Zhongli work really well as flex characters. But as I said before, I'm not going too in depth about her teams, but I will in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But now I'm going to give my opinion on her and my opinion on if you should pull for her. So I personally don't think that Yoimiya is a bad character. I actually like her design and her personality lore-wise. I'm just not a very big fan of making my left mouse button go through hell. Sure, she can actually do a lot of damage with good investment, but she is handicapped by mainly being single target. Also the fact in some scenarios you need Zhongli for her to actually survive. Those are just some flaws that make me not want to pull for Yoimiya, especially because of her competition. Like, why pull for Yoimiya if you can get Lenny or Hu Tao or Arlecchino if she ever comes out as a playable character? It's just reasons like this that don't put Yoimiya in a good position meta-wise. With that being said, I personally don't think that she's worth going for, especially since she's rerunning alongside the one and only. But if you didn't know, my opinions don't actually matter at all. If you like the character, pull for them. If you want the character, pull for them. You can do whatever you want with your primo gems. If you enjoyed this video, you can really help me out a lot by liking, subscribing, and joining my Discord down below. I would really appreciate it if you can help me out, as it only takes one click. Let me know down below if you're pulling for Yoimiya. If you are, I hope you get her. Thanks for watching. Bye.